Chair of the Continuum of Care coordinating effort, and happy to host the meeting today because Alan is out. So I am happy to walk us through the agenda. Do we like to go around and say hello? Is this group interested in that? Because I'm always interested to know who's in the room. And I would love to do that. All right, let me see if I can change my view so that I can see everyone. And if you would, please just say who you are and what agency or community group you're with, and maybe one thing you like about so much rain. Gennaro, do you want to start?
Absolutely. I'll start, Jay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gennaro Jackson. I am with United Way here at Forsyth County. I am the program assistant for housing. And what I love most about the rain is the fact that I don't have to water my lawn, so my water bill stays low.
Very nice. Yes, very nice. Thank you. Melissa, would you go next since I saw you excited about that comment?
Yes. I am Melissa Morissette Hurst. I work at Crossmore Communities for Children. I'm the Senior Director of Child Welfare. And also, I would agree that not having to water plants is awesome. I also don't mind the rain. I think it's kind of cozy feeling sometimes to have like a rainy, cloudy day. So,
very nice. Thank you. Thank you. Renee, would you like to go next?
Hi, you all. I'm Renee Wisely, and I work for Second Harvest Food Bank, but I'm not here representing Second Harvest. I'm just a community member who happened to get put on this board. So yes, hey, I don't like anything about the rain. It's the time of year when I want to wear flip flops outside, and I don't like getting my feet wet, so I could do without it.
Well, I appreciate that. And thank you, Renee. We appreciate your service. Your service on the board is critically important. So thank you very much for being here. Karen, do you want to go next?
Sure. Could you, I had a call, so I missed the
very sorry.
beginning.
Just name and what agency you work with and one reason you're happy for all the rain.
That's very crafty of you, Jay. I'm Karen McKinney. I'm at the United Way, and I'm happy for all the rain and that I don't have to water the plants that I just put in the ground like a week ago. So at least they're going to survive for another week or so.
Very nice. Very nice. It is absolutely good timing. All right. And then Deb, if you would go.
Sure. I'm Deb McClooney. I'm at the United Way, Forsyth County as well. What I love about all the rain is how green it makes everything. It's so beautiful in the spring. And luckily we're not into the hot heat of July where it makes everything so humid when it rains. So it's just beautiful and something we need.
Good. Well, thank you, everybody. And my name's Jay. I'm with Family Services, and I'm a huge gardener. I love rain because then I don't have to water, but I don't water anyway. I just recycle water in different areas of the yard. So I don't ever water from the hose because I'm frugal and I just refuse to do it. So I'm always happy for the rain, but it helps the flowers and the vegetables grow. So I'm thrilled about that. All right, thank you. We have an agenda for the day. Deb, I don't know if you can share the agenda, or Gennaro, one of you can share the agenda, and we can walk through a number of items, and then there's certainly time for questions as we go through these items. But I think, Deb, your majority of the information today is coming from Deb.
Yep, I'm a one-man show today. one person show. Yeah, I could share the agenda. I emailed it out yesterday. Let me see. How share screen. Let me make sure I'm on the right thing. Okay. Let's see right there. There we go.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about is we went through our proposed action teams at our COC meeting on Tuesday. as well as I had emailed out the proposed action teams probably 2 to 3 weeks ago, and then we had some input from everyone on that before we formed them. We did have a couple of other ideas for teams after Tuesday's meeting that we need to discuss further, and I need to find out more about some guidelines on that. A proposed team was quality improvement, and another proposed team was fundraising. So I'm not sure about guidelines on the fundraising, and I'm trying to find out more about that. So anyway, those are some ideas, but we had some great people. We had a lot of people volunteer for our other action teams, and that was really exciting. We actually have an overabundance of people on a couple of them, and that's really makes me feel good about the direction that we're going. So the next thing, is there anything we need to discuss or talk about for action teams, or any questions?
Deb, did we talk about adding advocacy in with the fundraising piece, that committee, or having a?
Well, we don't know yet if we can do fundraising. Someone mentioned that we could, but I haven't been able to find anything about it in the guidelines from HUD. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, just says I haven't found it yet. So we can find out more about that, but advocacy and fundraising would be a good connection. Currently, I think we have advocacy under community engagement, but I think that those could, work together, because we definitely want people who are informed about the issues to be the ones out talking about raising funds, right? So, yep, those would be they might be good co-groups, if nothing else, or action teams. So yeah, good idea. Thanks for pointing that out. So anyway, was there any other questions or comments about that? Awesome. If you do ever have any questions, feel free to email me, or comments or ideas or thoughts. So the next thing I wanted to talk about a little bit is, oh, you may or not, I should say, Sharika wanted me to talk about, because she was unable to be here today. She's at a conference. So next Tuesday on May 21st, there are some stakeholders meeting to formulate, work on all those good words, our coordinated entry system, changes that are coming, and improvements. It's a work to improve our coordinated entry system. So, but one of the things that we're most excited about that we hope will work out and is a one-stop shop, so to speak, where people who are experiencing homelessness don't have to float around to different agencies. Oh, you have to go here to get that, and you got to go there to get that. We're hoping to get that in our community where people can access services with less barriers, and can, oh, you need to have your driver's license. Okay, go across the hall, or you need to foods, go over to the people across the hall on this side, and they'll set you up with a little bit of food, or things like that, where they don't have to go around the community so much and use up transportation, because that can be a problem. So that's one of the things that we're going to discuss. And then, of course, just improvements to access to the community intake center. It'll be less of one focal point and more at all the agencies. We'll have a person doing intakes and whatnot, which will improve the speed with which you can get that stuff done. So anyway, we're all excited about this meeting coming up on Tuesday. And so that's what Sharika wanted me to talk about that. She also wanted me to, we're looking for learning opportunities for the COC Council, as far as like things we need to know to improve our services, talking about our other agencies telling us what they do, that sort of thing, and wondered if anybody had any ideas here, or learning opportunities to share where they would want to do a presentation for the COC Council at some point. I really appreciated what Rachel taught us at our action camp that we had last week, and I wonder if that wouldn't be a good one for the entire COC for her to do. I think everybody needs to know about that stuff. even if you're not
I
working.
think she would be happy to do that. For folks who weren't aware, last week at the Action Camp meeting, which is mostly case managers who work with homeless members of the community, Rachel Parker here at Family Services did a deep dive presentation about human trafficking, sex trafficking, and labor trafficking, and talked a good bit about how this shows up in homeless communities. She has deep, deep experience in the human trafficking world, and is building our human trafficking support and response, victim support and response program here at Family Services. So I'm sure she would be very happy to come to any group and present that information. Raises a lot of good questions and gives us all an idea of what to look out for. Sadly, labor trafficking is quite common among homeless populations, where people come out and say, hey, we'll hire you for the day and take you off somewhere to do a bunch of work and never pay you. And it's really a systemized exploitation that happens to a lot of vulnerable people in this country, and particularly even in our own community. So it's great to be aware of. But I think that's a wonderful idea to think about what are some other resources we should all know about. And Shane, I might put you on the spot. I see that you joined, but I think there's been a good bit of conversation about Medicaid expansion and who might qualify for what and how to help homeless community members apply for Medicaid, who might qualify. Anyone in the healthcare world, maybe at Atrium or at Novant, if anyone knows who would be a good person to come give a presentation about that, we would probably love that. The service providers who work at shelters would be really interested to see how can we help our community members get access to healthcare and have a payer source, because it exists. And I think most homeless people probably qualify and could be getting mental health treatment, could be getting medications, and just don't know what to do, or just don't know what to do. So that would be a wonderful piece of information for all of us to be able to share with our clients. If
Sure.
anyone
That
knows
qualifying piece is the DSS thing, and I'm glad to reach out to DSS, and we'll find out who can do a presentation. I'm sure they have ones already put together.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Thank
That would
you.
be very helpful. Thank you, Shane.
So yeah, I don't even know if it would be a local DSS person or the State Department of Health and Human Services probably just has videos we can show. But if you could help connect us to whomever might be the right person, I would really appreciate that.
Agreed.
Thank
Does anyone
you.
have any other ideas or thoughts about things that our COC would benefit from learning or hearing presented to us as ways to improve our services to the people we help? If you do, send me an email. Might come to you later tonight when you're trying to fall asleep. I don't know. But if you think about it, send me an email. But I appreciate the input on that. Okay, so we're actually going to jump to our last thing on our agenda. So next month is supposed to be our in-person meeting. Of course, there's a little bit of logistics with the television broadcast. So we'll have to make sure that that can happen. Does anybody have any ideas of a place we could be meet? Or do you still want to do that? Or do we want to just stick to virtual for this meeting?
I checked, and the community room at Family Services in our Broad Street office is available. I will actually be on vacation that day, so I won't be able to be there, but I could certainly reserve the room for us if we would like it. One of the good things about that space is that there's plenty of free parking at the Family Services building, and the room will easily accommodate 20, 25 people if we happen to have a lot of folks show up.
Okay.
But I think this time of day, like the downtown library might be a great location also, or one of the branch libraries. Many of them have a community room. That might be easier for Channel 13 to come set up. They probably broadcast from the libraries, I would think, on other times. So those are just a couple of suggestions.
Great ideas. Anyone else have any ideas or suggestions on that? No? Okay. I like both of those ideas, and I will be in touch with the people who do that, the televising, and see what they think about those ideas, and then let everyone know. I think the last one that was supposed to be in person, we ended up canceling that meeting. So, anyway, well,
I have something to share, but I'll wait in case anyone else has an idea. Yes. Hello.
hey, Larry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, televising. Oh, so if we do an in-person meeting, we just invite everyone and they can show up to observe the meeting if they'd like to. Otherwise, they don't. Ah, good to know. I did not realize that. Thank you so much, Larry. So that means we can meet anywhere we want.
Very good. Then I recommend public libraries because it's awesome. Our county tax dollars are paying for it anyway. There's already security staff. There's already people to lock and unlock the rooms. It's
Yep.
free. There are a lot of great options all around town.
Yep. Okay. I will check on that and make sure everyone knows before the next meeting where we're meeting.
Very good. Thank you.
Awesome.
The one highlight I just wanted to mention, we're really excited at Family Services. We do a lot of placing domestic violence survivors who come to our emergency shelter into apartments. When you come into a DV shelter, you automatically qualify as homeless because even though you may still have a home, it's no longer safe and you've had to flee. So all of our guests most of our guests qualify for the homelessness services that are available through our partnership and continuum of care. And I just want to say we've had a wonderful time the last few months getting people into apartments, in part because we're using the rent reasonableness standard. And I want to say thank you to Sharika Floyd, who mentioned this, and that this had been tried in another community she worked in. And then many of us started asking her, how does this work? What is this? And it's a way to be able to provide a higher rent than we had been providing. We used to really struggle getting our survivors into quality apartments because the rents available to be paid were very low. And now we're using this rent reasonableness standard, and our survivors are so appreciative and thrilled. We've had many people be able to move into apartments that feel safe to them, neighborhoods that feel safe to them, certainly safer than where they've come from. So that's been a huge success. So I wanted to say thank you to Sharika and everyone at United Way and folks who've been able to help figure out how do we implement that standard, because I don't think it was really being used in our community. We had never, at Family Services, we had not heard of it before. So now we're using rent reasonableness, and we have been able to help survivors and their children often get into a more decent neighborhood, and we're thrilled about that. So our guests are really happy with that process.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Jay. That's really awesome. I'm glad it's working out so well.
That is amazing. That's really, really powerful.
It
Yeah.
is, and I've talked with some of the case managers at Bethesda. Like many of the shelters are now learning, how do we do this paperwork? It's all appropriate and above board, and we're following all the rules and directions, but we're able to leverage more higher rent apartments than we knew we could. So it's tremendously helpful for people in our community that we're trying to get into safe housing.
That's awesome. So what she's talking about is that used to be the guideline was to use the HUD it's left my brain.
Fair market rent.
Fair market rate. Thank you. Yep. Fair market rate, which was a much lower, it's just like a certain low amount that HUD will be willing to pay towards someone's rent. And we had a hard time finding places for people to go because with rents being so high, there are often the rents that that would meet that were not in places people really wanted to live, honestly. And so it's been so what she's talking about is you're able to compare rent with 3 other places close to the apartment that you want to rent, and compare those comp the price, and be able to put people in, and HUD will pay the higher amount of rent for the comparable area. And so that's great, especially for the safety.
Absolutely. Like we would have people stay at our shelter, and we would connect them with landlords, and they would go by to see some properties, and they literally would come and say, "This feels scarier than where I left. I don't want to take my children there." And we appreciate landlords, being willing to rent to our clients and guests, but it was sometimes a challenging situation. So we're really thrilled to have partnerships with some of the same landlords in better locations, some new landlords. It's really been a great success for us. So we're very happy.
That's great to hear. Yep. All right. Anything else anyone wants to share or discuss? Nope. All right. All right, Jay.
Thank you all. All right. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye.